try natural networks. It might be okay. So what it happened? In the past, we used neural networks for predicting, in the classification problem, for instance, for predicting the outcome of the fruits. But these neural networks, they use typically features. Using a deep neural network, we use the same basic principles, but instead of feeding our network with features that are implemented by itself, we just, in this case, we feed the pixels. And the basic principle is that we don't need a feature engineering. We don't say to the algorithm what are the best features for classifying fruits. In this case, we just say to the neural network, figure out what are the best features and yourself and tune it. So what with this case, for instance, imagine that the four fruit data set, we have 4 fruits and we have them correctly labeled, and we start to pick each one of the images and feed it into the network. So we input the pixels in the deep neural network, and at the end we got it is expected to have a correct prediction of the fruit. If we feed pixels that are from an orange, it is expected that at the end we have an orange identified as a correct fruit. In the beginning, in the deep neural network, in these connections in the neurons, we are just putting random values in the connections. We are saying, okay, I don't care. I'm going to initialize my network with some sample values. It happens is we are lucky in the first time, but in the following trials we are going to get wrong. And okay, you might know that getting wrong it's part of our life, or making mistakes. So what we do, we collect the errors, we measure it, and we propagate it to our network. So we are going to adjust the values of the weights of our deep neural network according to the errors that we are mistaking or not. At the beginning, we can say that we will have a lot of failures, but after a few iterations, it's going to have a less error, and we are going to identify the correct fruit. But okay, this is not pure magic, and for doing this and for choosing the right parameters, we will need to use a technique that it's an optimization through the gradient descent. So we have a collection of parameters. In this case, for this graph, it's only showing 2 parameters. We need to choose the best ones that are going to minimize the loss, because if you minimize the loss, it's our algorithm is going to predict, and not depending on the pixels that they predict. Classes with text, it is if we the values significant types of cluster for data input. If you want classification or a rigor with several neurons per layer and so on. Many they born more quality, but at that time training to talk about later on. 50th in a single few. An idea 2 weeks. This we are in the afternoon we are to use this inception model, and then we will learn a technique called the transfer learning for allowing this model. It has many uses. You can do it in 30 minutes in your laptop. Deep learning, it is the current state of the art. For instance, in image classification, image caption. In these images, you can see, for instance, that the algorithm was able to make captions and descriptions of this image. It is also state of this the products. This is also a number of images that are abstract. It is laptops with some APIs. In Google, the model is like mobile. You have this not so well, and the syntax have the tensor. How can you do an optimization gradient descent? don't need to prepare your own laptop just for try, okay? And after that, you can scale to a very big data set using just the same code, and minimal changes might be needed, okay? So machine learning using TensorFlow. Like I already said, that building graphs, it's mostly like NumPy. You have special operations for deep learning. The community already provides us with high-level interfaces for using TensorFlow, and you have also neural net operations, specific neural net operations. For visualizing your learning process, you have also a built-in TensorFlow web application. To this, it's very simple. You just need to launch the tensor board and paste the log directory where the log files were being created. You have also interactive computation graph visual. Remember Inception, that was a very big deep neural network. You can drill down and check what each one of the boxes had. And for visualizing high-dimensional data, because, for instance, in the example of the image that I showed before, you had the neural network was inputted with a multi-dimensional array. So with this, you can also visualize this kind of data. Okay, and now we want to see, or probably you want to see how TensorFlow or examples of TensorFlow programs in action. Because, okay, for instance, in this example, I choose this example because you can try this TensorFlow or this MNIST algorithm, that it's basically an algorithm for detecting handwritten digits and this can be, of course, phone, so to systems or in our you can see performance of a machine playing this kind of games. The algorithm didn't learn by this kind of pixels of these images. The reinforcement of the artificial was used in this view of a infrastructure computing infrastructure distributed a supercomputer once here tensor. It means that it allows to be learning using a lot of. I also like intelligence guess of the images. Basically, in the paper you have hardware that the language Google in Google case it to languages. The algorithm was for training from Italian, translate first to it directly, even from it's that it was and so on, and it's familiar with you can mobile based on the background generate this kind of because what in the deep neural net and releasing. This means that you need to have directly. You can also faster see that this in this to be able to the types of now functioning. This is also a moderate the cat. A dog is dog. So this images. Those for interest you can use parse for more than, and you can use it. Now you can use all these models. TensorFlow really is this of this state of the art. For instance, respect learning. So regarding the and you have scikit scientifically learn in the right, but just near it has TensorFlow, and you can also see that Theano and Caffe and GenSim, they are also popular deep learning libraries, but they are slightly far in terms of commits and in terms of contributors from I think that in this presentation, I think that you will be, you have a very high-level overview of TensorFlow, and you should keep in mind that TensorFlow, it's for machine learning, for it's not just for machine learning or for deep learning, it's also for it's a general computation infrastructure. It is also for machine learning in general. It runs on heterogeneous devices. It uses the same API, and this is very important because with the same API you will be able to do research. You will also allow you to also, I mean, it's the same API for researchers, for data scientists, and for developers. And in this case, it's very important because the full ecosystem, it will talk the same common language. You have these state-of-the-art models that can be reused for your own needs without need to be retrained from scratch. And I think this is the major advantage over other deep learning frameworks because they are not outsourcing the models itself. So in case if you want to use an image classification problem, you will need to train it and you will need to use your own infrastructure. Excellent community support, and you can go to the TensorFlow website and just take a look to the level of the documentation, and you will see that on average the documentation of TensorFlow it's very good, being this an open source project. And finally, it has also an easy model deployment if you want to deploy your models to different computer infrastructures. And you can use also Google Cloud Machine Learning in case if you want to just put your models in the cloud. I also giving here two links. One that it's a GitHub README file that contains an evaluation of the several deep learning toolkits that we have, like Torch, TensorFlow, Caffe, and so on, and Theano. And in the last link, I also put a link. It's an overview or a comparison between deep learning 4G, Torch, Theano, Caffe, and TensorFlow. And in this case, it was done by the deep learning 4J guys. So I think it will not be biased. That in case of you think that okay, this is a conference that or a talk that it's supported by Google. I'm just saying that TensorFlow it's good, but the others not. But keep in mind that you can read in several times. Of course, TensorFlow it's not good at everything, but in terms, I think it will be in 1 or 2 years it will be the main deep learning and machine learning framework. Okay, and finally, thank you for attending this and seeing this talk. Remind that I'm also having here resources that you can check. And after lunch at 3:50 in the workshops room, if you want to try a TensorFlow code lab, we are going to do this TensorFlow for Poets. We are going to use the inception model. We are going to predict some classes of images, and we are going to retrain it from our own needs. Okay? And I think that we have a few minutes for questions.
Yeah. Does anybody have a question?
Okay.
No?
So, okay, don't forget, after if you want to try TensorFlow on your own laptops, just bring your laptop, and during the lunch, if you already not did it, please install Doc or Docker tools just to start, okay? Okay, thank you.
So, as Mario said, we're having workshops. Just for us to know, how many of you have brought your laptop? Raise your hands. Good, it's good. Two things. First, because we have workshops on the afternoon, how will they work? We have 40 seats for each. We're not going to ask for registration. You just, we're going to say where the room is, and you go. The first 40 to get there. Get the possibility to watch the workshop. You'll have talks and workshops at the same time. You choose what you want. And you can go to the first workshop and then go back to this room, go just to the second workshop. It's up to you. The workshops will take the duration of 2 talks. So we just ask you to, if you choose the workshop, don't come at the middle of the talk, okay? Just to avoid interrupting. After this first talk of Mario, we'll have a company joining us with 2 speakers that has joined us also last year. It's I2S. If you're cold, you probably have seen their gloves, right? They have some cool goodies most of the times. And they're going to talk with us about something cool. We're going to have this TV here to show you. Going to receive 2 people now, 2 speakers. One is this micro. Are you ready to go?
Hello? Yes, it's working. Thank you. Tu tens.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Hello, good morning.
While we sort out some logistical problems, do a TensorFlow experiment here with you right now. See if you're as good as TensorFlow. Here goes. Did you get that? Marco? As good as
Hello.
To say, well, we have Android Auto in our industry. We hope to only the software and the apps. So here it is. Great. Slido.deck and put in the number 824. Then you can join. Before we the context up here, today's day, all of you transport, particularly everywhere. Laser mouse away from it.
In Germany, new future. Just as right now, we are seeing that the automobile just a mechanical. It can be, in fact, the software we think about. We have our. Can you add an auto? The mechanic. Very, very nice.
That way.
Answer.
Some people saying, what's this?
50.
Right. With the first policy written in 8 gasoline power liability cause, one of the cars that would get frightened people or kick them. In the insurance company, giving them money. In 19 turn up in the UK. Driver not have both signs, and that's what it's all about. Answer now. Insurance company, but in fact, money from people for the risk that's been very someone to pay. Basically,
the same as before. We can see we will continue driving. But that is the right answer. Very compare industry, boring, the tax industry. That's right. Insurance, we can pass. Insurance is insurance. The startup can model. Startup is, but business model, it's based on of things. All of us have so with a lot of what can be of our vehicle.
Driverless the car and you're not. So what are you going to do? And with Porto, and it's going to help you make use of it. In a way, is also when we do is now I've played people who have done that. For example, cause of makes sense. You expect to connect, you can connect, you can't distract us for you. To your car, and then what happens?
So in fact, the thing is to connect the phone to the car, and that's easy. Or of Android music, yes, to your automatic. You can read the safety is the there you cannot Android Auto.
Constant Android into Android with an experience easy to
Okay, having your mobile. The point Herald from the car will be because I don't anymore. It's no longer to take this data back. And on this, they're SD5 gigabits per second from the server. And the connected answer is obvious. When you put data together, think of anything special. Security and privacy is at the data, included for their exactly. To do all that, you should pay less. People who don't. Two interesting things, and this starts happening. So, the second thing that happens, which happens to all of us, when someone's watching us, what do? We behave differently. We don't do the same things. When people are being mocked, and that means less. So, companies doing this. I've got it today. Probable phone accident. All the benefits of the disruption.
Future face in the first scenario, automobile can understand if you have you are Android Auto can do that. Conditions scenario intelligent. Why this? Big candidate if we have can do think about but with the world a Z thing. Insurance.
Next, good question. As a driver, who exactly insured? Where the driver? Writing software. Everyone insurance. So, and now you believe driven something. It means you'll start not of changing the and think about driving anymore. Why do you want me to say the thing? Say, longer doing what they have to think. And this year, driverless insurance. It's an interesting, as well as having the usual things. So automation, less because you have automated security features in your car. See coverage. First one, when it says you did not. Happens, you're not. It's your car. The car is responsible. Is the insurance policy covered? Insurance is really itself, and the great opportunity. So, I talked to us before we finish. Poll is called poll. We'll answer it because we can only have 3 polls. We'll have to. Looking away on your. Oh, look. Of course. And we are amazed. Come to our stand. You may want with a new. Okay. And talk to us.
Thank you.
Hi. I was, mobile, and we don't depend. Insurance could at some point, in somewhere, could be applied also.
The base of our society. Every day, that's a lot of and increase the car. How to society? Oh, the first very linear. We can the future. We must how we developer can produce users can use the software and also.
So another thing you said, which is that actual insurance, you've got to very, they don't need to be.
But
You talked
algorithms is an insurance code that
companies. As we have seen before, our automobile has more